Hello everybody and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm Chibi Noob.
I'm Envy Jitters.
I'm CheerandCosplay.
And I'm Kozi.
And we're back. We're finishing out the card game bracket of our Collect Them All tournament this week. Last week we had, it was
Black
the
Rock
action
Shooter
figures. Black Rock Shooter beat out Zoids. I'm still unhappy. But hey, I'm a little happier this week because we got to watch card games, and I like card games. So what did we see? We saw Cardfight Vanguard go up against Yu-Gi-Oh! Any initial thoughts before we get into stuff? Anything to say before we go?
Nope.
This was where the Yu-Gi-Oh! Fuckery started.
We'll get to that, yeah. I think up first is Cardfight Vanguard, though.
Yeah.
So, last time we watched it, we established characters, established some of the basic rules of the game, and now it's pretty much just that still.
Can I actually describe the plot, Al?
I would love a break, Envy. Thank you.
All right, here's the plot for episodes 4 through 6 of Cardfight Vanguard. Aichi fights 3 straight battles, 1 for each episode, and he loses at the end every time. The end.
That's a good point.
Good summary.
No, these episodes were very much more character introductions.
Also, we got more rules to the game that were not explained within the first 3 episodes.
That's also
It
true.
seemed like very crucial rules.
They felt... Well, I mean, we can get to... I think I can give some opinions on that when we get to advertising, but yeah, it does expand on the rules a little bit. We're expanding our cast just a smidge, or at least expanding how many like card players we have. We meet one kid who's like a horny 5-year-old. The card game shop girl plays games now. And we have a secret society, possibly, in the mall with a disappearing card shop.
Super rare cards.
Yeah!
And a really cool battle arena.
Yeah! I was waiting for them to bring in holograms. It's a recurring theme for a couple of these shows.
Can I just also say one thing?
Go for it.
We were mentioning how they're like slowly introducing more rules. This feels even more like a sports anime to me now.
Do it. Yeah, well, you know what? You're right.
Because they introduce more rules as you keep watching the show, and more, like, different things. I'm like, oh, these are other things you can do. This feels like I'm watching Kuroko no Basket again.
Not only that, they're getting ready for a tournament. Let's also remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They haven't mentioned what the tournament's gonna be,
Not
or
IT,
where,
though.
or any of that, but... Oh, you know he's gonna get on in there.
He's gonna, but as of right now, he's maintaining that he's too pussy to do it.
Sure. So, anything else to cover there before we actually get into judging this thing and judging it hard?
Sure.
Alright. Oh, God. Who's up first for plot? Chibi, I think that's you. What'd you think of the plot? Yep, you.
So I'm a bit of like I'm somewhere between a meh and a light yay. Like, I feel like these episodes are kind of a little bit, like, at least, like, some of it's a little bit more character work. Mostly getting introduced to new characters and, like, sort of learning a bit more about the game as we go. And it's, like, very slow plot progression, which is fine. But it feels like we're, like, plot isn't really a focus here, so while I'm, like, kind of fine that we're still slowly moving forward, it just kind of feels like we're also sort of not. But that's kind of my 2 cents. Sorry, I watched this a while ago, and my brain's usually dead by nighttime.
Well, we'll try to keep it alive while we get through the rest of this.
Well, you heard me describe the plot within less than 10 seconds. The plot is mainly introducing some new characters and I guess some world building, but as far as, story to story, it's the same thing 3 episodes in a row. Aichi fights an opponent. It looks like he's going to win, but then some random ass bullshit happens at the end and he loses. And I guess it's a teachable moment for him and will eventually make him become, I guess, the grand champion or whatever at the end of the show. But yeah, it's the same thing. It's first episode he loses to the cashier girl. Second episode he loses to the brat that wants to go out with his sister. And then the third episode he loses to the weird card shop people. So, I mean, I guess I'm a low meh to a high nay.
I guess I'm somewhere between meh and light yay. It's kind of monster of the week, but just with people playing cards.
Oh, that's fair.
People are monsters.
Yes.
You're not wrong. Especially that bratty kid. That's a monster if I've ever seen one.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't mind it in this scenario. I like meeting the new people, seeing their strategies, getting more familiar with the rules of the game. I'll go with light, yeah, I guess.
Okay, I'm gonna go light nay. The really key thing they wanted us to take away from these 3 episodes, I feel like, is, oh, there are level 3 monsters, and you need to have level 3 monsters to actually be good at the game. And, like, I get why when Kai taught him, he might not have busted out the level 3 monsters. But, like, Aichi's been going to the shop, like, every day and still fighting people, and this has never come up before.
Was his...
Yeah.
Also, Blaster Blade is only a level 2. What is so important about this fucking card?
It's his favorite. Was the Dragon Lord monster thing not a level 3?
No, they were level 2s.
Huh. Okay.
So I get it made sense for Kai because Kai was actually going easy on him. But, like, the whole addition of the level 3 and how Aichi's sucking so much ass because he doesn't have one and then he only has one and suddenly everyone else has, like, 8 million in their decks. How did that never come up before that point? And again, like, they hammered so much importance onto Blaster Blade and how it's such an amazing card. It's so powerful. What the fuck makes it so special? It's just a level 2.
I might be able to answer some of that real quick, at least from what I remember, but I could be very wrong. I will say just real quick, as far as how I'm feeling about this, I'm kind of going along the lines of everybody else. It's just very meh. I think they do some good stuff in these episodes, but it has to do with other categories that aren't plot. So it's just kind of, we just don't feel like we're moving somewhere very much. We are. They're mentioning tournaments, but it's also a very nebulous future kind of thing, and now it does very much just feel like, hey, after school we're going to go play card games, and that's all we're going to do. And it's kind of like, all right, like, fun, you do some fun stuff while you do that, but it's also like, this is not going anywhere at this moment. So I can't say that I hate it, I can't say that I loved it, but it's just kind of in the middle. As far as the card stuff goes, I think they did vaguely bring up the 3s before, because what's-his-face, the loudmouth, the one that is the same age as him and is a moron, should I call him Joey or Tristan?
It's a Tristan.
Tristan? Okay, yeah. So the Tristan, because I forgot his name and I wish I did remember because I actually do enjoy his character, I think he had a bunch of level 3s, but the whole point was he couldn't use any of them because he didn't pick any lower level cards to use before them.
Yeah, they did state that, but I also agree with Kozi, where they made Blaster Blade to be like the end-all to be-all card, the old-school Blue Eyes White Dragon back in the day, and yeah, now Blaster Blade doesn't even seem like the,
I am going to rewatch the episodes, but I'm going to challenge you on that.
You can.
I
might be
just
misremembering.
Had powerful cards.
Yeah, but I
don't think they specified level 3.
That could be fair.
They just said he focused on brute force.
But it was...
So, I think the thing with Blaster Blade was the fact that it was rare.
Mm-hmm.
It was rare and his favorite. I think... I don't know that the Blue Eyes is entirely a good comparison. It seems a little more like Dark Magician, which is like good, not great, but it's Yugi's favorite. I think we're allowed to make comparisons to Yu-Gi-Oh! Here because we are going to be comparing it to Yu-Gi-Oh! At some point. But yeah, I think that's kind of the whole thing, is that he really likes the card, and that's why he's like, I want to use Blaster Blade.
No, but the one guy stole it.
Yeah.
Tristan stole it,
yeah.
And then when Kai originally gave him to him, he's like, this is a strong card for you.
I'm going to be real with you. And I think...
They broke their own continuity.
No. I hear you. I hear you. But can I throw out there, and this might be more of a character thing, Tristan's a moron, And I don't think he actually knows how to play the game correctly. I think he's like, that's a powerful card. I'm going to put... Everyone else seems to be... This is so much more of a character thing, but I just want to get this out now. Everyone else seems to be having, like, a theme to their deck. Like, Paladin Knights, or, like, magical whatever, or machines, or what have you. Tristan's just like, this is a powerful card, I'm going to throw it in. Doesn't matter if it works with anything else. So, I don't think he's a good place to put any stock in, hey, this is how you play the game. Because he doesn't know what he's fucking doing at any point.
But Kai doesn't use the Blaster Blade deck either. And when that card came out, he was still like, ooh, I'm gonna grab that.
But he won that. So technically that was his at that point.
But he only agreed to it because he wanted the card.
No, he had the card. I think he agreed to it because he's like, oh, you stole this card and then bet it. Okay, I should give you a chance to then get this back because it was wrongfully taken from you.
No. I mean with Tristan in the first place.
Yes.
I don't think he knew it was stolen. Like, for as much as we joke about it, I think it's a bit of a reach for Kai to have thought,
I mean...
oh, hey, there's a random Blaster Blade. I bet he stole it from that kid I gave it to.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. Like, in that... So, the initial battle.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Because, like, they keep saying it's a rare card. That doesn't necessarily... Rare does not mean good, and good does not mean rare, necessarily. They usually equate them a lot, but it's not always a thing. Rarity is just like, there's not a whole lot of these. So maybe it is both a rare card and not such a great card.
That's kind of what I was assuming. Like, everybody's like, oh, you don't see one of those often, but like...
Damn, Cece's ahead of all of us.
You're not going to beat me with that.
We should finish this category.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
God.
I had to get that out of the way.
All right.
The whole 2 hours is just going to be like, is Blaster Blade any good?
Debated by a bunch of people who have never played the game.
Yeah, these are all assumptions. So I had very similar thoughts as Envy. I was kind of disappointed because I felt like not very much happened these 3 episodes. What did happen was basically just a repetition of the last episode. So I don't know. I definitely found the first 3 episodes to be way more interesting than these 3 plot-wise. It felt like I might as well have just watched 1 episode, to be honest. So I'm gonna give it kind of a nay-ish. Probably just a nay on plot.
Okay.
What, are we using new terms now?
Nayish?
It's
Is
a nayish.
Is
Nay.
nayish light nay or nay?
It's its
Or is
own
it a high
entity.
light but low nay? Words, they don't have meaning.
No.
No meaning.
It's
Yo-
a vague, nebulous concept of nay.
Speaking of vague and nebulous, we should talk about characters a little bit. Envy, I think you're leading us off into that.
Nice segue.
It really wasn't.
I mean, as far as characters, H.E., the main character, he's honestly the same in all 3 episodes. He goes to battle, he gets excited, he thinks he's going to win, and then he loses at the end. I mean, that's pretty much it with him. There's nothing else to him. Tristan, there were some moments I thought he was entertaining, and there were some moments that I wasn't thrilled with him. I still don't know why they're making it seem like him and H.E. are friends now. Like, even if they go to the same place every day and battle each other, he's still a dick to him. But I guess that's the whole Deku and Bakugo thing. It's like, why are they still friends after all this time? But I'm not going to get into that again.
Bakugo is way worse.
Well, yeah, no shit. But
Like, I don't know that that's a
Have
fair
you
comparison.
actually kept up with that, though?
I'm not going to get into that. I know what's going on. I was making an early comparison.
Yeah, early on.
Believe me, I had a full-on rant 2 years ago about Bakugo that was infamous. So I'm not going to get into that. As far as the other characters, I actually liked Misaki, the cashier lady, a lot. I thought she was pretty cool. I thought she, it's like, yeah, if you stare and watch these players play every single day and you have to manage the counter with a card game, you'll probably get on you'll probably know a few things. Now, granted, would she be that good, never playing a real game? That's up for debate. But as far as her characters,
With a blind deck at that.
They
yes,
looked at it beforehand.
but I guess but overall, I liked her character, and I think the cat probably would have been a better manager than the actual manager because, well, the cat was paying attention. So there's that. The little boy from episode 5, he's a little shit. I won't say he's the worst shit I've seen on this channel, but he's definitely a shit. Although I do like, I knew where the joke was going the entire time, where he thinks that for some reason Aichi, a high schooler, is dating a middle schooler. And
actually, I want to be clear. Aichi is in middle school. His sister's in elementary school.
Okay, well then even better. So this elementary schooler thinks that a middle schooler is dating an elementary school, and then of course
Are you sure? Aichi's 15 to 16, isn't he?
I think he's in his last year of middle school.
Yeah, I think he said junior high.
Yeah.
But anyway, I knew where the joke was going, but I still thought it was pretty funny at the end whenever the cashier lady was like, oh yeah, there's siblings, as in brother and sister. And he just had to put 2 and 2 together. Some future brother-in-law. I did like that. The weird-ass futuristic ladies from episode 6 I thought were interesting, I guess. You kind of had the one lady who was playing against Aichi. She was okay. And then the one lady, I felt bad for her having to sit next to Dingus, Tristan, the entire time. And then the lady...
She was enjoying herself.
I guess. And then there's the... I don't know who the one lady was who was watching Aichi the entire time with a concerned look on her face. Should I call CPS? She was weird, I guess. I don't know if she'll come back in the series. So I know I've been going all over the place, but yet again, so were these 3 episodes, but not really. It's a minefield. It's a circle. Yeah, the characters are meh.
I'm going to give the characters a yay-ish? A yay.
Yay-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like what Andrew was saying. The bratty little kid, I did not care for much one way or the other. He was kind of annoying, but he was a child. Kind of a weird choice to give him such a deep voice, but okay. The secret agency ladies, great. Love them. Want to know more about what all that's about. And how their shop just disappeared. And the cashier lady, absolutely love. We stan. She was playing, and I was like, wow, she's kind of a bitch, which is super valid, because if I was forced to play with preteen boys, I would also be super bitchy. More than that, her boss made her do this. She was just there to get a paycheck.
And it's her uncle, so it's not like she can be a dick to him.
I feel like you could be more of a dick to them then.
True.
Also, didn't she say something about working 9 to 5? Or he said something like that?
Yeah.
Like, she's working full-time, but also attending high
How
school?
old is she?
I'm pretty sure they said she's still in high school.
I don't remember.
She wears a uniform.
Hold on. She is 16 in seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Welp.
I thought they said she was part-time, so like maybe
Yeah,
working
I think
after
she's
school or something
part-time.
like
I
that.
don't-
No, they definitely said 9 to 5.
Maybe that was
Yeah.
on a weekend.
Maybe.
There's
I don't
literally
know, I
no
didn't-
way that you could attend high school and still do 9 to 5 during the week. On a weekend, though, maybe.
Yeah, that's why I was so confused. I'm like, there need to be some child labor laws going on over here. Yeah, that's a thought.
I guess I'm just a meh here. I did like that they kind of gave more characterization to not just Tristan, but also the guy who's always with him, who's really just like, who are you? Does anyone even have a concept of what his name is?
I thought he was going to be the Joey of the series, and I was wrong.
He's basically the guy that has to ring interest, and otherwise he'd be a force of nature that couldn't be stopped.
I do really enjoy the characterization they're giving to him, despite not knowing what his name is. I did like Misaki. I realized in her episode, and I did have to look up the timelines for release dates, Shin and the cat are just a ripoff of the teacher from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Oh, that's where it is. Yeah, okay, I see that.
So, I'm sure we discussed this, but I'm, this came out in, the 2010s? What?
Something around there, yeah.
This feels a lot older. I could have taken or left Kamui. I get what they're going for, but it is weird for a kid that young to be, that obsessed with a girl, like, immediately off the bat. Like, that's a little weird.
I feel like a lot of boys that young are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but he was like, I won the fight. Now you give me your girlfriend. Like,
Yeah,
No,
no,
yeah.
this is
That's how it is.
boy
unfortunately.
behavior when they're that young.
Yep.
Yeah. As someone who was both that young at one point and that kid a little bit, yeah.
Sad but true.
That's weird.
No, yeah, looking back, super fucking weird. But when your brain has been around for less than a decade, hey, any stupid shit makes sense.
I feel like when I was that young, all the boys were still like, ooh, girls have cooties.
Not to
No.
go off.
To
I
Not
be
to
feel
go
like
off.
once you hit
To
like
be fair, his balls clearly dropped when he was 3.
yeah, true.
That's true.
Not to.
Okay, yeah, that is
yeah.
fair.
Not to go off on too much of a tangent, but I remember trying to impress a girl when I was in kindergarten by swimming, and I ended up looking like the guy from Golden Boy. That episode.
Oh.
Good
So that
times.
was fun.
So what do you think of my technique?
I don't know. It was just a little weird. Maybe I'm, like, looking at it too critically through the lens of, like,
You're an adult.
Yeah.
yeah. Corinne, who was the one he actually fought against in the card shop, didn't like her. Did not like her. I think it's really weird how she flipped her script to like, oh, this total noob, and she like owned him through the entire match. And she's like, oh, actually, you're a really good player. Like, where in that match did you see he was a good player? It was all RNG. RNG that he lost. I don't know. They didn't really expand much on Aichi, but I mean, I feel like the whole point of giving him a losing streak was supposed to counterbalance, like, look at how amazing he is. But even when he's losing, you have all of his opponents for some reason being like, oh my god, this guy would have won if he just had a level 3. Man, I'm toast. So, I don't know.
So what was your vote?
Meh.
I'm actually a light yay here. I think that, for the most part, yeah, they have not done much with Aichi. He's really very passive in this whole thing, and it's a little bit boring. But his supporting cast, I think, is where a lot of the fun is coming from. Genuinely my favorite character is now that Tristan guy. I need to learn what his name is. And my second favorite is probably the little kid, just for... You're right, he's a little shit. But god damn it, he's a funny little shit. I genuinely have been enjoying some of these characters. I think, yeah, the card shop girl, she's fun. The other card shop people are weird. I want to point this out. The guy who runs that business, I think, is the only person that I've seen in one of these shows that has included a game or a toy or whatever that owns a shop kind of deal. He seems to be the only one actually actively trying to get more business. And I think that's actually, like, wow, that's for once realistic. You're trying, like, I know this was, like, last time whenever they introduced the sister, but I don't know if I pointed out that he was like, huh, you go to that, like, all-girls private school kind of thing. And he, like, I could see the wheels in his head turning, and I think he even mentioned something like, if I can get you into it, maybe you'll get all your friends into it, and all your friends likely have parents with disposable income, and then they'll all come here and buy more of my shit. I'm like, this guy's, like... I don't think it's going to work all the time, but I think he's trying to be, like, 3 steps ahead of, like, business stuff. So, I gotta give them some points for making a character who runs a game shop, who actually knows how to run a game shop.
Morikawa.
Morikawa's his name? Is that the card shop guy?
No, that's Shin. Morikawa is the Tristan.
Okay, Morikawa, still one of my favorite. Why have we had so many shows in the last couple weeks? Why are some of these shows, which are supposed to be geared towards kids, have so many simps in them? Has anyone else noticed that a little bit?
I mean, that's just anime in general.
I get it,
Yeah.
but like,
And then-
so many that are like, step on me.
I've seen so many anime the last couple of years with Sims.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, so far it's just the 2.
Well, it's...
I mean, I guess Aichi is a simp for Kai.
A little bit.
That's not
A
as
little
that's a
bit,
little
yeah.
understated, but like over the top, we got Morikawa, you got the little kid, you got the whole classroom in Black Rock Shooter last time.
Oh boy.
You got
I mean, so
not to bring up
So-
Yukio this early, but Joey saw My Valentine,
Yeah.
and then she's like, "I'm gonna crush you." Yes, crush me.
Here comes the breaker.
so I think like it's just one of those things that's like a stock character.
Yeah, but why is it so many times in this tournament?
I mean, I think it's just these sorts of shows usually will have at least one character that is like that. Like
Yeah.
sports anime, any shonen show, there's always at least one.
I do not remember this many
this
from the
is
Shonen
coming
Showdown.
from Japan, where if you're perverted enough, you get a nosebleed from your erection.
Well, and also, too, when you have shows in the same genre, you're probably going to see tropes in the same types of shows.
I
Yeah.
get that. It just feels weird
Yeah.
for... I don't know. I just thought it was a little bit
Maybe
weird.
they just know their audience will. A chunk of them will grow up to be incels.
The audience is just
Like,
like,
here's some representation for you. We love you. You keep us in business.
Oh,
Damn.
wow.
Now you're thinking like a card shop owner.
I-
I don't know. Were card games like kind of ostracized in Japan?
No idea. I don't live there. But anyway,
I
I'm
mean-
light yay for characters.
Oh boy.
yeah, I would put myself around that area too. I liked the supporting cast for the most part. I definitely liked Cashier Girl in particular. I mean, she was a little OP, but I can understand how sitting around and watching other people play games all day, you'll pick stuff up, so
Mhm.
I could believe it. And, you know, her, like, little tiny arc and personality was just pretty fun. I thought the other characters were pretty fun, too. The annoying kid was annoying, but I think he was believable as an annoying kid, and, you know, he stuck out to me as a pretty enjoyable character.
Annoying kid with a 30-year-old man voice.
Yeah, the voice was kind of funny, so I could get behind it. You know, the main character has been pretty stagnant, I'll admit to that, but I don't know. He was fine. I still enjoyed him for the most part. So yeah, I'd say overall, it's a light yay for characters.
I'd say again, I'm somewhere between like a high meh and a light yay. I thought some of our new characters were interesting to like, you know, get to know and like, you know, see them use their decks. But I don't know, I guess like maybe. Yeah, no thoughts, head empty.
Just like Morikawa. Anyway,
Before we move on, I do just want to say, Kamui, that annoying little kid, he is exactly Dan
Dan?
Dan?
Which
from Bakugan. He is exactly Dan.
But I actually
can see
liked
it.
Kamui.
It's like a better version
Yes.
of Dan.
There you go. That's a little bit better. Anywho, advertising. Who's taking us? Cece, you're taking us into that.
I guess this is a yay or light yay, maybe. I don't know. I think it's still doing a good job of like actually teaching you how to play the game. Like this one might have me. This one I might actually sit down and be like, okay, can I actually play this just from what I learned watching the show? So I guess it's effective.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a yay here. I know last time I was like, oh, it's explaining it, but I don't really get it. I don't know what it was, but something clicked these first couple. In the fight with Misaki, I'm like, oh, I get it now. So, like, it is very effective at teaching you how to play the game. The monsters are kind of lackluster, but it's selling a product, and if you went out and you bought that product, you would know what to do with it. So, I'm gonna give it a yay.
Yeah, I'm a yay here also. I think that one of the best things that it is doing, as far as like teaching you a game, is the repetition of what was happening before. Like in the first couple episodes, we learned the most bare bones basic of the game. And that is going to be repeated in every single episode, but then we're going to add little extra bits, like the one with Misaki's where we learned a little bit more about, card effects, or some effects that like are across a number of cards that you can use to build upon the bare bones of the game. And then like the episode like where we learned like threes have like a couple extra abilities to them, and you can do some stuff with that. And I feel like like you're saying that you're getting the game now, I think that's kind of a really good testament to this, because it's like, I think if they keep adding stuff, and not only that, but adding new cards, new things to see, and all of that, I think they're going to be doing a real good job with it. And yeah, so yay.
I will say it was the addition of the level 3 that kind of clicked for me, because like I wasn't understanding like how the Vanguard just changed whenever you put a card down. I didn't realize it was like transforming.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna give it a light nay. Although I think it did well in teaching how to play the game, that's not always what I want in terms of advertising to me that something will be fun. I just feel like there was, once again, too much repetition, and I don't feel like the monsters stuck out enough. I just don't feel like there were any, like, oh shit, this is really cool kind of moments. It just, I don't know, it's just like, I know how to play the game, but do I want to? I feel like there just needs to be more action, and I just wasn't getting it. And there's no stakes, really. They're just sitting in a little shop. I don't know, like, it doesn't grab me as something that makes me excited about these creatures or anything. I don't even remember most of them. So, light nay.
Yeah, I'm also gonna agree with Yin, because I also am just kind of like, this is cool to watch. Again, I'm going to compare this to a sports anime. Am I watching this and enjoying myself while watching it? Sure. Do I want to play said game because I'm watching it? No. And I think it's partly because, one, card games aren't my thing. Two, I'm not really, like, I don't know. I guess I'm not, like, overwhelmed or dazzled. I will say that one of the shows that we had in the card section of this tournament did a really good job with visuals, and this is just not doing that. So yeah, I'm kind of underwhelmed by this one, as far
Cheeks
as
is
advertising
obviously
goes.
talking about Duel Masters.
No,
Yes.
no.
Yes.
I'm going to be completely honest. I must be a complete dumbass because after watching these last 3 episodes, I'm still confused on how this fucking card game works. They when I think I'm getting a handle with, they do another thing out of left field, and it just compounds. I guess it's one of those
That's
card
fair.
games where I have to sit down and actually play it myself and have someone teach it to me like 10 times in a row before I play it, because I get the general concept. You got to try and get your main unit, or whatever you call it, your main Vanguard, down to like 0 HP. I get that, and you add certain other elements, but then there's times where the main Vanguard changes from the one you started, and I was getting confused by that, and the different status effects, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, can I play Go Fish instead, or Solitaire?
Al, do you think it would be fair to compare this to the Pokemon trading card game now?
First off, there are no status effects and there are no HP, so I would say no.
Well, I just mean in, like, order of summoning.
A little bit. It's a bit more of like I did an open deck tournament one time that did it was called like Mutant Evolution, where it was like it didn't matter if you, like, you know how Bulbasaur becomes Ivysaur becomes Venusaur.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was like an open deck tournament, so we were basically opening booster packs. So it was like if you had a first stage grass Pokemon, you could turn it into a second stage grass Pokemon, regardless of its evolution line. So I could take a Bulbasaur and turn it into a Gloom or something if I had that. Because it was like, what are the odds you're going to get everything you need out of a bunch of booster packs at random? But I think it works a little bit more on that logic.
Yeah. So, Envy, like, the front 3, they're the attackers.
Can I throw this out
And,
there?
like,
We're going to
yeah.
go to a convention at some point that will have this. Let's all go to it and see if we can figure out how to play.
Maybe not.
Okay, you don't
Maybe
come.
let's not and say that we did.
Me, Envy, Cece, you coming?
Yeah,
All right.
this is
Oh.
exactly what I want, especially because now I don't have to buy cards. just
Yeah,
to see if I can-
they'll have like a little, here, try it out real quick kind of thing.
Yeah.
But,
But, I
like,
mean-
I'm
you
happy to
have to
watch.
start with, like, a level 0, I think. and then summon a level 1 on top of them, then summon a level 2 on top of them, and then summon a level 3 on top of that.
Can we point out
And
that
then
the advertising in between the commercial breaks for the episodes included level 4s?
Yep.
They're on their way,
Oh.
people.
I forgot to mention this. This does count as advertising, I guess. The little commercials in the middle of the episodes.
I haven't been counting
like
them
at
in
the
my
end.
thoughts, but yeah.
I like when they go, Bushy Road! Bushy Road! That makes me giggle every time.
But yeah, I guess I'll give advertising a meh because I'm a dumbass, and I'm sure the rest of you aren't a dumbass. You guys probably understood how the game played by watching it, so.
I mean, I
it
didn't understand until this round, so.
I think to some degree it's different learning styles.
But yeah, since literally these 3 episodes were just nothing but 3 episodes of playing the game, yeah, it's all advertising. It's just how effective it is. It's up to you and how you enjoy the cards. Because, I mean, the cards look cool. I mean, the characters on the cards look cool, and they actually showed more animation in the fights in these 3 episodes than they did in the first 3 episodes. And yeah, I mean, if that giant ass holo table existed in real life, that'd be pretty cool. So, yeah, like I said, objectively, I'd say it's decent advertising. Subjectively, it just didn't work for me that well.
So what are you?
I was a meh.
Okay.
Okay, one last thought on advertising that I forgot. They did, again, show, like, booster packs and, like, going through and the actual realistic crushing disappointment when you realize, hey, I just got a bunch of garbage.
And the owner being like, that's okay, you can just buy more booster packs.
See, he knows what he's doing. Just encourage them to buy. I feel like we're in, like, They Live. Consume. Anyway, we should move on to production. Kozi, you're leading us off.
I'll give it a light yay. There's not really much to complain about. Like, I did say this feels a lot older than it is. I think I will stick by that, but, like, it doesn't feel like a 90s anime, which is where animation was really fucking weird. Like, it's animated decently enough. They don't reuse, like, very obviously a lot of frames and stuff. Character design is questionable. I really want to know what was going on with that orange-haired girl's hair.
They were like pigtails, but giant? Am I remembering this correctly?
Yeah, but they also, like, stuck straight out.
It's like drill curls, but, like, not with a drill.
I think that they're secretly hiding a jetpack.
That would be great. I don't know if this is really a production thing or just kind of like, I guess so, since because it's on the official, like, production channel, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, having those actual advertisements for commercial break, I think works because, like, I am intensely curious about, like, what the mobile games are now.
Ah, you're right. Fuck.
And I think this soundtrack is really nice. Like, I think they have a nice opening and ending, and I think they can appropriately use, like, their sound effects and actual, like, tracks to make things that are important feel important and intense. And if it's just goofy, it feels goofy.
Yeah, I think I'm a light yay here. It does, I think, a couple of things good. I think but it doesn't, like, do anything, like, spectacularly. I think some of the new cards that you're occasionally seeing throughout each episode, like, you know, the designs for things are fun and interesting. You know, there's just not a whole lot to complain about here. I do like the dub cast, and I've mentioned the character elements. I think half of that is a little bit of the dub of, like, God, why does this child sound like, you know, a 40-year-old smoker? I don't know why, but I'm enjoying it. It's yeah, I think it's all put together pretty well, and yeah, so I'll give it a light yay.
All right, we're on production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any complaints. It's not really any different than it was in the first few episodes, which was pretty decent. I guess kind of light yay.
Yeah, I'll also give it like a light yay. because I can't really think of, like, any sort of, like, downward direction in quality as far as anything is concerned. I'm gonna just say that the end song is still stuck in my head. Listen, it's very catchy.
I don't remember that one as much as the One Punch Man Vanguard thing that they had going on in the beginning.
I was going to be a light yay until Kozi pointed out the show came out in 2011, because I thought the show came out in the early 2000s, because it looked like that to me, if I'm being completely honest.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not trying to be harsh, but I just went
Yes,
on
you
Mal. I just went on Mal, and I looked up shows that came out in 2011, and yeah, every show that was big in 2011 looked better than this show. Not saying it looked bad, but I
Just
didn't.
notch better.
I did. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of a meh. Although I do agree that the theme song kicks ass because it's by the same studio that made One Punch Man's opening. Both of them, actually. So yeah.
I'm sorry, I just threw everything on the floor. Are we done?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay.
They feel that strongly about production.
Dang.
I'm gonna give it a light yay. I have no strong feelings. Like Kozi was saying, it does have all the same energy of a 2000s card game anime, but it looks better. It's a lot easier to look at. No real complaints. Yeah, light yay.
Alright, and then I guess I'm leading us into final thoughts. Overall here, I'm a light yay. I think I'm interested to see where they're going and what they're going to bring up next. I think they just need to maybe start pushing where their plot is going going to go a little bit more, because it feels a little meandering, and that's probably the only reason that I'm a little like light on wanting to watch more of this. But again, the characters are enjoyable. It's easy enough on the eyes, and it's fun enough that I'm like, you know what, I'll put this on.
I'm going to give it a meh. I was a little disappointed in comparison to the beginning. I thought that more would be happening by now, but it kind of started becoming stagnant. And I fear that the rest of the show is going to be the same. I'm not sure that I would like an episodic card game show, because I think without stakes, like card game shows, it just ends up you're watching a card game, you know? And I just feel like if there's no fantastical element like a lot of these other shows have, like Pokemon, Digimon, they're usually on like a journey of some sort, going towards something, kind of like what Al was saying, but also like there's a fantastical element to it that just adds something. But if I'm just watching people play cards in a shop, I might as well just go to a real shop and watch people play cards. I don't know. It's just not very intriguing to me that way. I was kind of hoping something else would be added to this to spice it up or add stakes, which could happen later on, but I'm not getting that from these 3 episodes. I'm getting that it's just going to keep going as it's going. So, but at the same time, I like the characters. I think it's cute overall. I think their dynamics are nice. So it's not that I didn't enjoy it overall. It's not that I was bored out of my mind, but I just feel like there's nothing to enliven it. So I'm just going to give it a meh, because I think it has good qualities and bad qualities.
I'm kind of a little bit in the, like, meh category myself. Like, I'm sort of enjoying myself, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, I would kind of like it to feel a little more, like, plot driven. It still feels like we're in the rules and guidelines section, instead of, like, kind of getting more into, like, the actual, like, plot of what's, you know, going to be this season, which I kind of get, because there are still things that we don't know, and like most sports animes, they take like a longer time to sort of like really flesh out the rules of the game. But yeah, I feel like I'm just getting a little bored.
Yeah, I'm just a plain old meh. Like, I didn't hate it, despite my complaints, but I wasn't, thrilled either. I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm pretty sure I think it's like a 65 to 68 episode season this season. So, like, obviously, it's going to take a while before the main plot really kicks in. So, if this somehow moves on, I just hope episode 7, 8, 9 at least does more stakes. Aichi is put in a real corner. like he's in like a not a life or death situation, obviously, but just more of like more at stakes and just here's a exhibition game that he loses. But yeah, as I probably wouldn't watch the show anymore unless if it moves on. But I didn't hate it either, so I didn't like it wasn't torture to get through. So it was just kind of flat. That's a good word, flat.
I'm a little the same. I'm gonna give it a light yay. It's like I am enjoying it, and I would not mind continuing forward, but I'm not like chopping at the bit, need to know what's gonna happen next.
I am also gonna give it a light yay. I do think we're still gonna get like a lot of character introductions and stuff going forward, but I do feel like they introduced an interesting concept with the card shop and how it disappeared, and I am not excited, but like I do want to see Aichi like enter a tournament and face like maybe like no-name characters, and we can see how he does there. Or maybe he faces Morikawa again. I do actually legitimately want to see like a full fight with Morikawa at some point. I have hope.
I thought we did see that in episode 3. I could be wrong. Anywho,
when he's not like a dumbass.
Well, he's gonna. That's a pretty like
that's impossible.
Stock dumbass right there. I mean, you're gonna take a lot to get him out of that character element. Any final thoughts on Cardfight Vanguard before we move on?
You can take the ass out of the dumb, but you can't take the dumb out of the ass.
Now we just need to get him to become pure of heart, and he will become himbo. All right, let's move on. So it's facing off against Yu-Gi-Oh.
Wait.
What's up?
Is he strong of arm because he strong-armed Aichi to steal his card?
And to take him to the card shop to fight, and then I'm gonna fight you, and then I'm gonna fight you, and like there was so many good. We didn't even mention it, but there were so many good spots to have unnecessary censorship in these episodes. Oh boy! But we should talk Yu-Gi-Oh. So Yu-Gi-Oh, they're on the island. The last time we had someone's grandpa's soul was stolen, and so you'd go play a tournament on an island, and now we're on that island, and it's time for the games to begin. Yugi spends 2 episodes fighting Weevil, and then Joey fights My Valentine, and everyone's got a gimmick, everybody's got cards, and no one knows how to play this fucking game.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was Wendy Lee that voiced the girl that looks almost like she could be Yu-Gi-Oh's sister.
Was it? I didn't think it was. Hang on.
Oh.
Megan Hollingshead.
Okay. Never mind then.
But yeah, so I think that's more or less the plot. Am I missing some elements here?
Sounds about right.
What's the main antagonist's name? What's his
Pegasus?
name? Pegasus. He pretty much says, you're going to be playing in a free-for-all battle, and then, if you win and collect 10 stars, you fight me for the championship to win $4 million. Oh, and by the way, here's something I'm not going to tell you. Every single location on the island, whatever status effect it is, that'll affect your monsters.
Yeah, they added some extra rules that he didn't entirely tell everybody, so that'll be fun for other people to find, but, our protagonist is dealing with it just A-okay.
Which is not an actual thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's be clear.
Well,
you can
we
play
have a whole
field
section
cards.
for this. We have a whole section for this. Let's wait. For now, Yin, why don't you take us into the plot and tell us what you thought?
I thought overall the plot was pretty solid in terms of, okay, I understand what the drives are, where they're going. It has stakes. I mean, we know who the main villain is. And of course the grandfather thing is hanging over their heads. So I'm still interested in all of that. I felt like the card battles were confusing, but not uninteresting. So I'm mixed about them. Because like you guys say, I do get the sense of this being played wrong, especially because I've been told that this is being played wrong. But, I don't know, I still felt it was fairly enjoyable for the most part. I'll give it like a light yay on plot.
What's going on? I have no idea, but I love it.
As far as plot goes, I would say that, like, plot progression for this definitely feels like we are following, like, a storyline. Because we start off, getting to the island, then we go into fighting Weevil, which takes about, like, 2 episodes. And then we have a duel that happens, like, directly after with dialogue that is, like, leading from one episode into the other that, like, basically follows, like, what has just happened. So as far as, like, plot progression is concerned, I would give this section a yay, because it's actually got stuff going on that is consistent, and it's not boring, even though, like, there are other things that can probably be said about, like, the fact that how they're playing the game is probably a little funky. But that's for another category.
Yeah. Excuse me. Overall, I'm a yay. Like I mentioned, the stuff with Pegasus and the twists and turns with the tournament, I thought that was kind of, devilishly clever of him. And let's be real, we knew that Yugi and Joey were going to win. They weren't going to have the 2 main characters of the show lose on their first match, especially Yugi to fucking Weevil. But that being
all
said,
or nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say both were all or nothing. So, like, again, like, it'd be really weird if your 2 main characters, like, boop, you're done right out of the gate. But even still,
It's a bold choice.
well, yeah, that'd be a bold choice. But even still, as predictable as the outcome was, I still thought it was entertaining. Like, for episodes 4 and 5, you have to go through just, like, I feel so bad for the voice actor of Weevil, because I know that he was probably instructed to sound as annoying as shit. And to be fair, he does sound annoying as shit, so you deal with that for 2 episodes. But I think it's a good cathartic moment whenever Yugi wins at the end, and Weevil's just like, mother of fuck, I just lost. And the other lady, I forget her name, she's like, oh, Weevil can't lose. He's a regional champion. I'm thinking, motherfucker, did you just question the chosen one, bitch? So there's that.
Yes, but I'm the main character.
Yeah. And then episode 6 with Joey. Again, I have a funny feeling of how the whole series of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to end, but I won't say it here. But again, I will say it does make you sympathetic to Joey, trying to get the prize money to cure his sister's blindness. And, again, that'd be really fucking dark if he loses his first match when technically he wasn't even allowed to be on the island in the first place. So, but yeah, it was good cathartic moments. Like, it sets up its plot well. It sets up a good stake. You know what the end goal is. And again, predictable outcomes, sure, but they're cathartic outcomes, and it feels good. So yeah, it's a yay.
Do you know who would be the darkest for if they lose out the gate? The sister, who will then be blind.
Yup.
Wait, so she's not
in the Shadow Realm?
Oh, hey, that's a good point.
Can't forget him.
So is the sister already blind, or is she on her way to becoming
going
blind?
blind? She's very close.
Okay.
And she needs a surgery to stop the disease progression.
Yeah.
Would that be enough to cover it? 4 million?
I think it's 3, but yeah.
Okay.
Also, I mean, you got to figure whatever they're paying is probably very little, because Japan actually has universal healthcare.
Must be nice.
That is true.
I think Serenity's in America, though.
Oh,
Remember,
she's fucked.
Joey's mixed.
She's fucked.
Yeah.
America,
No wonder
fuck
they
He's
yeah.
mixed, and his parents divorced.
No wonder they need the prize money then.
Yeah.
Yo,
But
I
yeah,
gotta get this
yeah.
money because of the American healthcare system.
Basically.
Like,
Why wasn't that
there's-
a line?
Which is really funny, because I think she does ultimately come to Japan
She
for
does.
the surgery.
She does.
No, slight spoiler.
Oh,
Wow,
that's
spoilers.
We're not getting to that part of the show, no matter how far
Yeah,
this
like,
goes.
they don't actually blind his little sister.
I don't think they get back to the mainland till like episode 22 or 23.
They're on the island that long?
Oh yeah, this is a whole, like,
It's an
season.
Like, it's a whole season, yeah.
Jesus.
It's a big
Which-
island!
Oh, I'll get to this in mine. You go ahead.
Okay. I'll give these 3 episodes a light nay on plot. Mostly, I know this is petty of me,
Mhm.
but I really hate it that they drug a battle out into 2 episodes. That drives me insane for
You
absolutely
would not
no
like Dragon
reason.
Ball Z.
You are not gonna like the rest of this series.
CC, not to call you out or anything, but how the hell did you get through JoJo?
Yeah! Especially those early
In
seasons.
JoJo, they were just standing around and doing sexy poses.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I kind of started. I started liking JoJo kind of ironically because it was so ridiculous.
That is fair.
One of my favorite sports animes, Haikyuu. I got to season 5, and I was like, oh my god, is the entire season one singular match?
Yeah.
I cannot handle this. I don't know if I finished that season.
Was it a match or a tournament?
It was a match.
It was a match.
They
And
drug
yes, it
an
was
entire
the entire
match.
season. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would they do each serve an episode or something?
I think this can be a whole thing on its own. Whenever,
Oh, true.
if we get around to it.
True.
I was like, why are we still here? Watching this
Just
in
to
real
suffer.
in real time would not take this long. So yeah, I did not like that about this. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this again. Please no. I would rather it be episodic and give me like 1 match per episode than drag a match out over multiple episodes.
I'm gonna be meh. It's really hard for me to separate the plot from how they're playing the game wrong when the entirety of all of these episodes are them playing the game. And they're not playing it in a way that makes any fucking logical sense. I did like that they kind of like circled back and they tied up like things with like Weevil. And even with Mai and like her psychic thing, which I don't understand how that works as a strategy.
What, you can't memorize 40 different scents that are all stacked one on top of each other so you can predict what your cards are going to be without looking at them?
Like
That's
from
hard for
that-
you.
From that to how she's even smelling them when they're all down in front of her, like, is she like wafting each card? Because it looked like she was just hovering her hand over it. But
She
even
just
like,
she got a very sensitive sniffer.
She used to be a wine sommelier, so she's used to like determining different
is she
scents.
like really sensitive though? Because Joey could smell it from across the field.
She drenches them.
Like, what does that deck smell like? And like, is everyone just giving her like extreme side eye as she walks by?
It's like dripping out of her pocket.
She's a walking Bath and Body Works.
It's the
Wow.
smell of victory, as long as it works.
But also, like, I just don't get how it's supposed to work as like an actual strategy to psych people out.
Because they think you're psychic.
Yeah.
How are you
I
supposed to
don't
beat a
think
psychic
that
person?
worked. Because she wasn't able to predict your movements. Like, I don't see why that would actually, like, psych anyone out. If anything, I'd be like, this bitch is stupid. She's not even looking at her cards.
Yeah, that's what Joey thought. And then she started predicting which cards were hers correctly. And he's like, what the fuck? Does she got, like, some sort of thing going on?
I would
You gotta
think
remember,
cheating before I
Joey's-
thought psychic.
Joey's stupid. And quite frankly, so are probably a lot of the other people on this island.
Yeah. Speaking of the island, Cece, you were like, oh my god, they're there for such a long time. Yes. And there is, like, it's full on Hunger Games on this island. There's no, like, actual, like, rules you have to follow. We see, like, there's actual crimes being committed on this island later. They don't, like, give them food or shelter or anything.
Pegasus
They
owns
literally
this island. There are no government regulations of any kind.
They just turn them all out into the wild and we're like, have fun.
You were saying something about the number of stars doesn't match.
Oh, this might be like a much later on thing. Al, you may remember. Was there just like a limit to how many people could get into the castle?
No, you just needed 10 star chips.
Okay,
But I
they
think-
unleashed like hundreds of people onto this island.
Okay, I think I can explain some of this. To some degree, I think part of it is... I don't know how long they're there for exactly, but I think they had like a limit of how long you were able to be there. And so you had to get... like, let's say the tournament lasts a week in real time or something. You have to get in by the end of the week, and if you don't have the amount of star chips by then, you're just not in the finals. And outside of that, we haven't seen this yet, but Pegasus has some goons going around taking people's star chips as well.
I do. I do know that. But
yeah.
I'm just like, for the amount of people he released, I'm like, for the amount of finalists I know there should have been more.
Well,
Also, like, getting 10 star chips shouldn't even be an issue on this island.
Well, we have a whole
There's
season
so
to show
much
that it is.
cannon fodder.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was a light yay here. I think that... I don't think the plot was as strong as it was last time that we watched Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, it's kind of hard to top, you know, your grandfather being kidnapped and then his soul being stolen and then, you know, almost drowning and a whole bunch of other stuff. But now that we're on the island, it's kind of started to hit more of its episodic nature. But at the same time, the stakes are still there, and it is still reminding us of, like, hey, we got a goal here, we got something we're going towards, but also, you know, we're introducing new elements and characters and all sorts of stuff each time, and so it's keeping things interesting. I think it's just, we're kind of at that lull right after that initial, like, plot hook kick at the very beginning of the show, so still a yay, just a lighter one than I would have given it last time.
Grandpa should really write a book after this, like an autobiography titled My No Good, Very Bad Week.
He should write an autobiography Japan light novel. That time I was sucked into a vortex.
Maybe. Speaking of characters, though, Chibi, why don't you take us into that?
Characters. So, a lot of what we have with the characters as far as, like, our main group is, like, just showing sort of how strong their friendship is with, like, Yugi and his friends. Which is nice, although it gets to the point where the power of friendship's a little much. So
strap in for that.
Oh, I know,
Just fucking wait.
I have seen more of this show than I can actually really recall, because I was very young when I actually did watch some of this. But I remember there was a lot about the power of friendship. And it's just very interesting, and this might be a production thing, but I don't know if it's just the fact that they can't get consistency with how tall Yugi is.
Oh no,
Because like
it changes.
It's like, because there are times when he is like up to Tristan and Joey's waist, and then there are other times where he's up to like, you know, chest level. And I'm just like, does he just grow several inches when he turns into like, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yes.
Or is it just the fact that they couldn't decide how tall this kid was?
You hit it on the head.
He's actually changing.
He gets a foot taller when he transforms.
Okay.
Because, can I just like give the other Yugi his actual name?
Go for it.
Sure.
Okay. Oh. His name is a 10.
Can we call him Yami? I like that better.
Oh! Speaking of, Yami Yugi, dead Yugi!
Yeah. Well, kind of, yeah.
They were literally calling him dead Yugi.
This is Yugi, this is Ghost Yugi.
So is he.
And quite literally, that's what he is. Like, he's dead. He's the pharaoh.
Okay, so his name is Aten?
Atem.
Atem?
A-T-E-M.
Okay.
So, like, he's literally the pharaoh from, like...
I mean, yeah, I already knew that.
Yeah, they'd say it basically in the intro.
So, they're giving him his actual body when he's, like, manifested into Yugi.
That's why his face
Minus
changes.
the skin color.
Yeah, that's why his eyeliner game is so on point after he transforms.
But, I will say, it doesn't make much sense because nobody else is noticing this.
Yeah.
Again, everybody's stupid.
Okay, so my question is, in the Yu-Gi-Oh lore, is Autumn actually like a god, like in Egyptian lore?
He's a pharaoh king god person. I don't know. I wouldn't say he's an actual god.
Kinda, like...
So he's not a... Okay.
He's a pharaoh with magic powers. If you want to call that a god, I'm sure the peasants would believe that.
Okay.
He's supposed to be in charge of the afterlife.
Oh, well, there we go.
Oh, so he is a god.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, judging souls.
Like,
Oh, damn.
So wait, isn't that Anubis's job?
I
I
don't
think
know,
he's
but...
the god of, like, the setting
Yeah.
sun or something.
But
Like-
doesn't Anubis fight him in the Pyramid of Light?
Oh, no.
I don't know,
Lore's
but,
messed
like...
up.
Oh,
He
wow,
goes-
Japan screwed up the Egyptian mythology of this card game anime. Who'd have thought?
He goes to the end to do his actual job, and, like, he's the one who's, like, judging and weighing the souls and, like, determining whether they get to go to paradise or get booted.
Damn. We were talking about characters, right?
I
don't know.
Hey, here's all this information about a character that you didn't get to learn through this.
But hey,
Doesn't
don't
he
worry
sound
about
so
that.
cool?
How do we think about episodes 4 through 6?
but I hadn't finished my thoughts on characters yet.
Yes,
yeah, no,
please.
sorry. I
Please
was
finish.
just trying to, like... Yes, he's literally growing because it's his actual body,
Okay.
but also not.
Okay, that also explains, like, physique-wise, why he looks so different. Anyway, and then we also get to meet, well, we already met Weevil, because we already, met him in
Weevil
prior
and the
episodes.
Pants.
He's still a pain in the ass, but, he's kind of like he's the wimpy villain that, like in a video game, when you're, like, going and trying your first boss, that's what he is. And then my Valentine, like, I guess her character is more supposed to be like, she's supposed to come off as like, correct me if I'm wrong, like a femme fatale kind of
Yeah, 100%.
deal. And I'm like, I understand what they're trying to do with her, but are they trying to like also present her like a tarot card reader? Because like psychic
No.
reader, the cards. I'm like,
This is a one-time
I understand, no,
Yeah.
but that's like the aesthetic that I'm getting from it, and I'm just like, please stop.
This is a one-time thing.
Anyway, I was just like, I'm a little, like, I kind of get also, like, they're trying to, like, have her more just really in it for the money and the things, which I can kind of get, but I also know that her character does change a bit as the series goes on, if I remember correctly. So I'm, like, interested in seeing, like, her if she has, like, more growth, like, how her character develops. But yeah, I think for characters overall, I'm kind of like, I'm like in the light yay category because like, I don't really hate anyone, but also I'm just kind of like, there isn't anything that's like, oh, I really love this.
What are the other two friends' names again in Joey and Yugi's group?
Tristan and Taya.
Yeah, I liked all four of them as a group. I think they all support each other really well, and they're squad goals. Even I imagine the other two will probably find some way to play later on. Again, never seen Yu-Gi-Oh growing up, so I have no idea what the story is. But I have a funny feeling that the two of them will probably find some way to play later on in the show. But as far as them being the supporting group for Joey and Yugi, I thought they were good. Again, they're nothing complex. They're not Quentin Tarantino or Shakespeare, deep mythological or complex characters, but they're fun. They got a good chemistry with each other. Whenever Yugi becomes, I'm just gonna call him Yugioh. I know he's different. I'm just gonna little Yugi is Yugi, and big Yugi is Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm just gonna call it that. I like
Yugi
big
and O.
Yugi and
There
Yugi.
you go.
Oh.
Yeah. Basically, I because in all honesty, whenever Yugi becomes a Tem, it's almost like he's a different person because he's more confident. He's got
God, that's exactly what everyone on the show says.
So
he quite literally is a different person.
well, yeah, but like personality wise, I mean, so yeah, I like the difference between the two of them, and I liked how he's confident. But at the same time, he's not a jerk about being confident. He's just like, yeah, I see you with your traps and your field advantage, Weevil, but I'm you didn't notice my trap card. So there's that. Obviously, Weevil was meant to be unlikable, and when he loses, you're like, eh. So there's that. Valentine, she's fine, I guess. I'm not gonna share what I honestly think about her, so I'll just leave it to that. So yeah.
Now I need to know.
That's a private thought.
Now we're gonna assume the worst.
I'm gonna assume the best.
Well, you remember how at the beginning of the show, was it Cece that said, "Why do so many people like to simp for girls like that?"
Oh, I was right.
It was not
Yeah.
me. That was not me, because I was like, she hot.
Oh, okay, yeah, there you go. So there's
Better
that.
watch it or I'll crush you. Yes, crush me.
Yeah, like, she's a total bitch. I'll get that, but yeah, like,
That's what
yeah.
you're into.
Maybe. Who knows? I'm a weird boy. Moving on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ladies, now you know Envy's type. Angry.
Not really.
When you're a
but
certain
yeah.
amount of attractive, you can get away with being more bitchy.
Yeah, no,
That's
that's
true.
yeah, absolutely.
Nah, that's that makes me sound like I'm a sexist bitch. So moving on.
We're all kind of bitches.
Cece.
Oh, were you done?
Yes.
She just said moving on.
I don't know if you meant moving on to more characters.
There really wasn't any other characters. I mean, you saw Pegasus for 5 minutes at the beginning, but otherwise, yeah,
Not
most
enough.
of the
Keep
Yeah,
me
most
under
of the-
question.
Envy, I want
You
you
make
to
so
give
much
me
more.
all of your thoughts on nameless background character number 1.
What
Let's
about
go.
that one guy who was voiced by Kaiba and he wore like that B-stripe sweater after he fought Mai? Yes, I remember all these things.
You've seen it too many times.
I've seen this episode twice in my life.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
I thought you were a bigger Yu-Gi-Oh fan than that.
I watched like the whole show, but I didn't like
Only
rewatch
once.
the whole show.
Okay, but in all seriousness, yeah, there really wasn't much to Valentine's character at all, and I was glad. And I was, in all seriousness, I did not like her personality at all. So it was good, cathartic. I'm just being a dickhead with that, but yeah, I was glad to see her get her comeuppance too, and she was the foil of the episode.
But you still wanted her to step
You're
on
not
you.
being a dickhead. You're not supposed to like her in
No.
this season.
But you can want her to step on you.
She's mean, but she ultimately feels a little harmless. A lot like, Jessie of Team Rocket.
Yeah, I can see
I
that.
feel like they
Yeah.
got
One of
similar
those is an actual
energies.
criminal, though.
Although, when you actually think about it, though, Jessie's backstory in Pokemon is probably way darker than hers from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, it is.
What's
Yeah.
Jesse's backstory?
She
She's like
was
a
poor.
juvie
She
kid.
basically she was basically a street urchin, and she got into Team Rocket to basically pay the bills. And she met James, who was a spoiled rich kid, and they bonded over their love of Pokemon and trying to capture Pikachu.
And they're just like their
Envy,
parents.
You're like, her backstory was so dark.
She
She was poor.
She was poor and she was kind of in a...
I definitely thought someone got murdered.
Yeah, she was like in a street gang with a bunch of kids before she joined Team Rocket. Like an actual
Is that
organized
not what
crime
Team
unit.
Rocket is?
She made a bike gang.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's implied that she assaulted some people with a chain.
Oh.
I think this is Patreon content.
Yeah, this is Patreon content. Cece, what the fuck did you think?
I like Mai even if I'm not supposed to. She's fun. She's a fun bad. Weevil is appropriately named. Y'all don't have Weevils up here, do you?
No, I don't think so. Thank God.
Yeah, we had a history lesson about those. I think Yugi's two friends are a little bit useless right now. I don't think it was worth it for them to sneak onto the
Did they
boat.
ever get useful?
Season 3.
They're really not doing anything.
Hey, I think Taya gets one fight in during this season.
Okay, that's something.
Yeah.
What's his name? Joey? The one that fought...
No, Oh, Joey fought Mai. Tristan's the other one.
Okay, so he's at least doing something. And it was kind of interesting seeing Yugi take a step back from being the main character this early on.
Oh, don't worry. He sideline duels half of Joey's matches.
That's annoying. He
Backseat
was
duelist.
really... Yeah. The whole time I was like, just shut up, let him play his game.
Well, he kind
I
of
think
saved
you're
his life, because otherwise he was
you're-
probably going to lose.
think you're so much better than everybody just because you're possessed. Shut up.
You think you're so much better than everybody just because you're so much better than everybody.
Overall, I'll give it a meh. I think it kind of evens itself out.
Okay, I'll give it a yay. I think they did a really good job. Like, you know, you could probably kind of already tell from the moment we met Rex and Weevil. They're not great, but they did a really good job establishing, like, just how shitty Weevil is. Like, the only reason he was the regional champ, he cheated. The only reason he had any sort of advantage within the Dual Kingdom duel in trying to get Yugi out is he cheated beyond, you know, yeeting Yugi's most powerful cards. Like, he stole the rules to the tournament.
If it was a real tournament, it should have been provided to everybody.
I think they were supposed to be, like, surprises.
I guess, but, a little weird.
It's Pegasus.
I know.
The man has never had an original thought. He tries, but...
Oh, come on. Pegasus is, by definition, an original thought.
No, when you think about it...
I am not thinking thought like a think. I am thinking thought like a thought.
No, when you think about it, dual monsters are all just a ripoff of ancient hieroglyphs he found.
I was trying to make a pun.
No.
I appreciated your pun.
Thank you,
I don't
Cece.
want to think about Pegasus being a thought because he tries.
That's what makes him a thought.
I swear to God, he wants to fuck some of these characters.
Fortunately, the ones that are of age.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better.
Nah, he definitely wants to fuck Yami Yugi. Well, I mean, he is like 5,000 years old, technically.
Yeah.
Technically, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Yugi is 18 in this show.
What?
It's listed their ages online. They're all seniors in high school.
I thought he was like 16.
I thought he was
like
6 when I
12.
first saw it, but it doesn't matter.
I'm 6 because he's
Oh
short.
my God. Okay, well that makes a lot of the following seasons
I-
make a lot of sense.
I feel like we did discuss this. We've either discussed this on here before, or I discussed it with you because there is a thing about Joey and Mai being shipped.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's like, okay, she's like 24.
Don't they get together?
I don't
They
know
do.
if officially or not,
Oh.
but like
No,
they're
they do
very
officially.
much like, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
like, it's
if
a couple
he's
years
18
later.
and she's 24, maybe I can accept it.
I want to say it's a
but-
few years later, so he's probably like 20 or something
Okay,
when it
that's
happens.
fine. As long as they didn't meet when he's like 15, because that'd be creepy.
There's genuinely been like jokes in like the abridged series and that of like, oh, we're into each other? Is that weird? No, we're actually probably the most normal relationship in this entire series.
Alright, I can accept
God, they really are. As much as I hate the power of friendship trope and how much they're beating us over the head with it, I do think the main four interact well with each other. Like, they're nice characterization foils to each other. And I don't think anyone's brought this up, but I like how they typecasted their decks to kind of like reflect their personalities. Like, Weevil is all like bugs and like slimy little traps. And Mai is like femme fatale harpies who will fucking disembowel you. Joey's just kind of like fucking all over the place because he doesn't know what he's doing.
But Yugi's deck is the exact same way, and he does know what he's doing.
Yugi has two people living in his head.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I'm a light yay here. I think the big thing for the most part is that we didn't get a whole lot new. A lot of stuff for the characters is kind of reiterated from the last episode. So it's not a whole lot of addition here, but I think I gave it a yay last time because and still here everything's really good and they do really well with their characters, the supporting characters, the main characters, the new enemies that we're fighting and whatnot. But overall, I don't think we've added anybody. So it's kind of like this is still a good thing, but it's kind of a stagnant good thing at this point. It's a bit like the plot in a way of like, hey, really strong start, and we're kind of just coasting a little bit, but it's a good coasting. So I'm going to give it a light yay.
I'll probably give it a light yay too, maybe even a full yay. I think, as I thought in the first 3 episodes, the characters do what they're meant to do here, even though they might be, you know, how do you say, what do you call a character trope? Like they are a little
They're archetypes?
They're a bit, yeah, they're a bit like that. They're a bit tropey, but I think they're good in that way. Like they are a good version of the tropes that they are, and I enjoy that. I think their dynamics are pretty good. Some of the characters are a little useless right now, and maybe will be until like season 3 or whatever. But I think they still interact well together, and I enjoy watching them. So yeah, I think the characters are really fun. They still come off as pretty, I don't know, iconic in a way. And I don't know if that's just because I remember watching some of it as a child, but I feel attached to them still. So I'd probably give it a yay on characters.
Before we move on, I just want to... I don't know whether I brought this up before, but at least in regard to characters. The one thing that always confused me, and maybe it's because now that you mentioned that they lived in different countries, why doesn't Serenity have a Brooklyn accent?
That would be hilarious.
Because here's the thing. If Joey was the one who moved to America, he has the Brooklyn accent, that makes sense. But he's the one who stayed in Japan.
I don't know. Maybe she is the one who stayed in Japan, because Joey transferred into Yugi's school.
Okay, so he went to America. But then now why do they need the money? Japan has universal health care.
I don't know. Like,
Also,
it doesn't make sense at all. Because regardless, she's a citizen, so she would have qualified for it.
Yeah, just a slight
plot
note.
is falling apart before my hands.
I think it would have been funnier if maybe they had added a Brooklyn accent, but maybe we wouldn't have been as sympathetic. It was like, oh no, brother, I'm going blind.
I do actually just want to point out, I do think Tristan is useful in this season. He beats that one guy up in the tower.
Right. Yeah.
That was pretty useful.
He does that more than once, actually, I think. But yeah. I did one other little small thing. And it's because they had that reiterated flashback of the video thing of like, brother, I wanted to send you this video so that you wouldn't forget what I look like. Joey's not the one going blind, Serenity. You are. Why does...
Yeah.
Well, I think she kind of meant, like, see my face one last time, like, with my eyes intact.
Okay.
Because, when you go blind, like, you can usually tell the eyes are blind.
I wasn't thinking of it like that. I thought since their parents were divorced and one was living with the one parent and one was living with the other, it was kind of like you're not maybe going to see each other as often anymore or something like that.
That makes more sense.
I guess so.
Years.
I'm looking for things to make fun of a little bit.
They were parent-trapped, essentially.
I mean, but they knew each other existed.
I'm sorry, it took a minute for that to sink in. You said Tristan beats people up?
Yeah.
Who needs a deck of cards when I can deck you with my fists?
Yeah, exactly. There are no rules on this island. There's legitimately going to be someone who gets to the end of the tournament by doing that.
Yeah, like, legitimate crime.
I take it back.
It's like, I'm just gonna kick your ass. Give me your shit.
Essentially, like, shoot someone.
I mean, they don't shoot someone because this is a 4Kids dub, so they edited out all the guns. But yeah, there's a couple people who get guns pointed at them in this season.
Oh, you're right. I do think Keith has a gun.
Oh yeah, Keith has a gun.
What do they replace it with?
God, he's so American.
Oh.
I'm gonna point at you super, super hard.
Oh my god! I mean, want to see that.
It's one of those things of like, well, how do you edit that? Like, how else do you edit it? You know what I mean?
Listen, I know we're not there yet, but man, is Keith so accurate.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Trying to shoot little school-age children.
Okay, no spoilers, but he isn't aiming at the children. But,
he does!
It's a later thing. For now, Envy, can you take us into advertising and tell us what you thought?
Well, this is probably going to be the one section that we're probably going to disagree with, because I know you and Kozi are going to explain how this entire show showcases the game wrong. And to be fair, I knew...
What gave you that idea?
Well, I knew... Let me just say this. I knew from my friends from high school who were big Yu-Gi-Oh friends that the anime and the actual card game were very different. And I'll just put it like this. Is it kind of bad advertising if they play it differently than how it plays in real life? Yes. But what Yin was saying with Cardfight Vanguard on how they didn't find the actual duels entertaining, I found the duels in this show entertaining, and it honestly made me want to try out Yu-Gi-Oh! In real life. Granted, I would have to, re-educate myself to know how it plays. So,
Yeah, you want
but
to talk about how you couldn't understand Cardfight Vanguard?
you know
you
what?
really wouldn't understand Yu-Gi-Oh!
In all honesty, the way they explain Yu-Gi-Oh! In the show made sense to me. Again, not knowing how the game plays in real life, but I thought the card game fights were actually easy to follow in Yu-Gi-Oh! So maybe they can make a version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it follows the rules of the anime. But I'll give it a light yay.
It's called
But,
Duel
yeah.
Masters.
I'm like, they did get better. They did start following their own rules.
Eventually.
But yeah. So I'll give it a light yay because again, I'm sure you and Al are going to explain how wrong this show is, but it made me want to try the game out in real life. And the cards, I've seen Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards in real life. They were big when I was in school, and they do look cool, especially with the back, and then with the vortex on every card. I think that looks cool. And yeah, I would, want to play the game. And I would want to actually see more of the show as well. So yeah, it's a light yay overall as advertisement.
I'm gonna give it a nay. I had no idea what was going on in any of the battles. And on top of that, Kozi constantly going, that's not how that works. I'm like, great, I'm not even gonna get invested.
Yeah, I was calling some as I see some. It was a very eventful 3 episodes.
I did it too.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat, Cece.
Card games is a hard sell for me, and this one did not do it.
Okay, cool. I'm a full hard fucking nay here. I was very nice to Yu-Gi-Oh! In the first round. Because they hadn't started any of this bullshit yet. Well, there was some bullshit, but not a lot. Okay, oh god, where do we even fucking start?
Field bonuses.
Field bonuses. Field cards are a thing and can give field bonuses, but just having a general field, that's not a thing. So, the field cards are what Yugi played when he had summoned Skull with the mist.
Mist is not a
this
field
is
card,
a mountain, this is a forest.
I think-
fucking fight me on that, Pegasus.
I'm going to throw this out there. I could see a scenario of the game being like, hey, we're going to choose field cards. We're both going to have a field to play to add something to the use of our decks. My main problem is it doesn't function the way the field cards do.
Yeah.
Okay, a forest or any kind of field card you have just adds 200 to your attack and defense. It doesn't increase all your points by 30%, which is what it was doing. They did that sometimes in the games, but it's not how it works. Also, it doesn't negate the power of magic attacks on you or anything like that.
Exactly.
And
oh my
they're,
fucking god.
I'll get to my thing when I get to my thing. Keep going.
The burning down the fort. No.
No, actually,
no.
that's not as dumb as Burning Lands I did have. That basically just removes a field card, which it did what it was supposed to.
You can't do it with a monster attack.
Yeah,
the
his
polymerization.
his whole I combine this with the dragon. No, you don't. You just play it. You don't do that.
Specific monsters can combine. Specific ones.
Yeah.
Anything above a 5-star level has to have a tribute monster of
That's
a weaker
before they
level
established
sacrificed. I don't care.
They don't establish it until Battle City.
I don't fucking care. That's not how Yu-Gi-Oh! Works.
Well, they also don't have direct attacks yet.
The cocoon? Oh, haha, I destroyed your cocoon. Oh, that's okay. It wasn't the turn limit yet, but it's still hatched into the other card. That's not how it works.
I have to look up how the Cocoon of Evolution works.
I did.
Is it? Because I know there's a 4th form of it.
Yes, and that looked like the Mantis Weevil played. Although I do know the Mantis is just its own card.
Yeah.
But the fully armored one is what it looked like. I did look it up. You put the worm in, it does have 2,300 defense points. Nothing's protecting it. If you can beat that 2,300, it's dead.
Well, I think the problem was because he couldn't get anything higher than the 2,600 that it got from the bonus.
but then he did get higher than it. And
Because
he
he got
killed
rid
it
of
a
the
turn
field card.
early. He killed it
Yeah,
a turn early, but
it
the
shouldn't have
moth
worked.
still fucking hatched. That's not how it would work. It takes 4 turns. It takes 4 turns. It can't be destroyed at turn 3 and be... It was close enough.
Okay, how do you get the ultimate Great Moth out of Great Moth, then?
Oh, you leave the worm in it for like 6 or 7 turns.
Okay. Alright, that makes more
so
sense to me.
Mescal.
Yeah. The rain. Oh no, my moth is wet, so it's going to be more liable to electricity. No!
No, not at all. Not even remotely a thing.
I will say that the trap and spell cards, those were okay. I think those followed. Harpy ladies also did that wrong. You can play Harpy's lady and you can equip her with the thing. But Harpy Lady's sisters, which is where it summons the 3 token ones, that is a completely separate card, and they are completely separate monsters. And they would not then all be equipped with the weird bondage gear. Time Wizard. Time Wizard. Time Wizard has a 50-50 chance. You have to roll, or I guess it's flip a coin.
Yeah, it's flip a coin.
And I don't remember what does what, but basically you win the flip. It will destroy all of the monsters on the other side of the field. But if you lose the flip, it destroys all of your monsters, and you add those up and take something in, like,
I think it's life point damage.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like half the total attack. But I think it goes for either side, so it's very much like, this is gonna fuck my opponent completely, or it's gonna fuck me completely.
No, I did relook it up. It just destroys their monsters.
Okay.
Baby Dragon does switch into a 1,000-year dragon with Time Wizard, but you have to have the card already. I don't know if they
It's a fusion summon.
I don't know if they showed he already had it, but, like, you have to have the card to play that combo. You can't just be like, I know 1,000-year dragon's somewhere in my deck, so I play Baby Dragon and I play Time Wizard, and now I'm just gonna pull 1,000-year dragon out.
Well, it's a fusion monster.
Works.
It's a fusion monster, so it would come from the fusion deck if you were actually playing it.
Okay, I'm just... Yeah! Gonna fucking fight Pegasus. Okay, I probably missed a bunch. Al, you can cover all that.
I think the only thing that you missed was the, that the moth added poison that decreased everybody's attack.
My
That's not a fucking thing.
The fucking poison!
Let me throw this out there. Let me throw this out.
thing!
Cozy, let me be
Turned
real with
into
you.
Joseph.
Cozy, we know that there's a worse version of that coming up later. Okay? So, here's my actual thoughts on the overall thing, though. So, I'm seeing both ends of this. I gave this a light yay last time, because I think for the first 3 episodes, in a bare bones manner, they do cover what Duel Monsters is and how to play it and Yu-Gi-Oh! And all that sort of stuff. And they do it for the most part pretty well, without too many crazy deviations for rules. This one throws that out the door, and they're like, hey, we're just gonna... Here's the thing.
The card
When you're
game
watching
wasn't
it,
invented
it wasn't invented. It really... And they're kind of just making stuff up as they go, as you do. I think Envy's right. This does look cool. And the stuff that they're doing, as they're explaining it, does make sense. There is logic to what's going on. But on the other hand, you're also right in that this is not how any of this shit works. So I'm right in the middle of, yes, this is great advertising at first, but then when you actually find out how to play the game, it's shit. So, hard middle, and that's probably where I'm going to be for most of Yu-Gi-Oh! Moving forward, as far as their advertising goes. Right dead set in the middle of meh, because goddamn, this looks amazing. Goddamn, is this a fucking lie?
Yeah. So I did actually play Yu-Gi-Oh! The way the show played it. Until I got the first fucking video game, and then got trounced by every single opponent because I didn't understand how to play Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yep. Yin, what'd you think?
I don't know anything about the card game. So, all I can gather is what is shown to me. it was a little confusing, but I don't know the discrepancies that you guys are talking about, which are apparently very bad. However, I kind of agree with Envy that it made me interested. I think it could appeal to people who have not played the card game and bring them in to be interested in the card game, which is what advertising is about. So even though it might not, quote unquote, teach you to play it, I think if we're talking about advertising and what advertising really means rather than teaching you how to play the game, I think it kind of serves its purpose in a way, because it can make people who aren't interested in the game interested in the game. You know, then you do have to relearn the rules and learn how to play the game correctly, because it's obviously wrong. But I think if we're just going on what advertising means, it succeeds in a way. So I would give it a light yay, because yeah, it does some things wrong and I can understand why that's incorrect, but also I think it succeeds in certain ways in terms of new potential players. So just a light yay.
Yeah, I'm also gonna give it a light yay. Honestly, I pretty much agree with everything that Yin said, because as someone who simply wanted the cards but didn't want to play the game or learn how to play the game and didn't really care about that aspect of it, I will say, like, as far as advertising goes, as long as you're getting things to fly off the shelves and have people give you money for it, I think you're doing a pretty good job. That being said, like, I feel once you actually really look at the cards and, like, look at the rules, and like what all the cards can do, it sort of like puts it more in perspective, and it makes you a little more confused, but also maybe a little bit more intrigued as to like how the actual game might play out. So yeah, I'm very much in like the light yay category.
Okay, so moving on into production. Cece, what are your thoughts?
Fine. No complaints. It's fine. It's all fine. I'll give it a yay.
Is that an end of thought?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I guess the light yay, like, they didn't really do anything abysmally wrong. Abysmally wrong, like, animation-wise, like, story-wise, like, how they were executing a lot of things wrong. Yeah, like, I guess the scenes are pretty. Not really a lot to say about it.
Yeah, I'm a yay here. I think it still looks good, and they make the monsters look interesting. The characters are consistent in, like, animation style and the character design. I think it all works very well here. I still like the 4 kids for the most part, though I don't think we got as many funny lines out of this one as we did the last time it was around. It's still pretty solid. I'll give it a yay.
I will actually say, Yin, I did go and watch the Japanese openings for, like, every season.
Yeah.
For the first one, no, I don't think it's that much better.
I think it's better. I don't know, maybe it's because it feels like an anime opening, and I like that.
Well, why don't you talk about production a little bit?
Yeah, I thought they were gonna change, like, the animation to the opening, but it was just different music over it.
Yeah, I don't have many thoughts about production that I didn't have in the first 3 episodes. I don't really remember what I gave it at that point, but I feel like it's kind of just like a meh for me. Like, there's nothing really special to me about the way it looks or the way it sounds or anything really, but I like the character designs. I think they're fun and cool and really extra, which I appreciate. I like of course the card designs, like the monsters are iconic and cool. I love that. Like, even though I'm not well versed in Yu-Gi-Oh, I still remember what those cards look like, and I still recognize them very easily. So I'm gonna give it a meh just because, like, the animation stuff doesn't thrill me, but I think the designs themselves are very, very good.
Production, I'm gonna give this like a light yay. I don't really have any complaints. Nothing was really like throwing me off or anything, so.
Yeah, my thoughts are pretty similar to what Yin was saying. I agree that, that for the early 2000s animation, it's fine. Nothing really stands out. But yeah, the designs are, iconic. I mean, especially, you have Yugi with his freaking hair that's become like such a meme for, spot the main character in the audience. But yeah, so there's that. And obviously the 4 kids opening's iconic too. I'm not going to say the line because I've already said it enough. So there's
Say
that.
it. If you're
No,
going to
I'm
say
not.
it at any point, say it for
No,
the show.
I've overdid the joke.
You gotta bring it back if it makes it to the finals, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because it'll really be a time to
Ah, he
Got
said the
him.
thing.
It's a light yay.
Speaking of finals, I think we move now into final thoughts. Kozi, take us away.
Yeah. Kinda, honestly, just like a meh. And I think this may be because I actually know where it's going. That, like, there's nothing for me to be excited about. I know what's going to happen. Like, I don't have anything to look forward to. It's not that I don't want to watch it or, like, I don't want to. I do want to watch it. Oh god, that sentence was confusing. Like, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I do. It's just like there's nothing that's like pushing the story forward in these couple episodes, really. And like, if I wanted to watch anything, like, I would rather just skip to the episodes I like. Or maybe just axe Dual Kingdom entirely and go to Battle City. So, like, I feel like I gotta give it a meh.
I'm actually going to give it a yay. I feel like, because I mentioned this a little bit with plot, and I've kind of been, because plot is one of the major reasons that I like to continue a lot of shows. At the very least, we have in this show, even if it starts to become a little more episodic in nature, we have a goal, and that we're striving forward to. And we have the tasks and stuff that we have to do to get to that goal. We know what we have to do and what we're going to be doing for the next couple episodes. Even if some of it gets repetitive, I know where it's going, and I do know what the next episodes are. I'm trying to like not be like based on what those episodes are going to be, but if I was watching this newly and it's like, what have I gathered from these episodes for what's going to be coming next? I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm interested to see what people are going to show. Because here's the thing. We've basically covered, at least from a character standpoint, all the people that we met in the first through third episode. Who shows up next is kind of going to be an interesting thing. Where's Kaiba? That's a really good question. Things like that, I think, could keep my interest, especially if I hadn't seen this already. So that's why I'm going to give it a yay.
I would say I would give it yay overall as well for similar reasons. I think the plot drives it forward still. I think it still has the stakes of the villain. I'm very interested in Pegasus and where he goes, and I'm interested in seeing characters like Kaiba again and seeing the main characters develop too, and whatever this Hunger Games that happens on the island transforms into. I think it has a lot of interesting setup that could make for, you know, high stakes and some good duels. So I would say it does well at making me interested in continuing, and I would give that a yay.
So overall for this, I'm gonna give it a light yay. It's not anything that I'm overly like shock and wow with, but you know, I feel like this is good. Like, it's got, you know, consistent plot, decent characters. I will say that as far as like, you know, everything else that's going on with like cards and production and things, like, I'd say that, you know, for me they're passable. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a yay for me. I'm very interested to see where the story goes, and I find the show entertaining. Like, I'm actually legit enjoying watching the show. So yeah, it's a yay for me.
I feel like I'm gonna be controversial here. I'm gonna give it a meh. Not super into it, but I don't really hate it. I think it's still kind of like a hype version. Like, everybody's really into this, and I will never catch up. I'll never have that childhood nostalgia for it, so.
Well, I'd say honestly, like, bare bones Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably is not popular anymore. Because every series they've added on, like, they've made specialized stuff.
Yeah, I talked about that a little bit whenever we covered this the first time. The game itself has gotten a little too meta in a lot of ways. But that's a discussion for its own thing. We're mostly talking anime, and I'm assuming that we're all done with our thoughts on Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's time to get down.
Actually, I did have one question.
Sure.
Don't tell me the context, but what episode is it where that one meme comes from where Yu-Gi-Oh's by the bridge? It should have been him. It should have been me, not him. Damn it! Is that from
Season
later?
Oh, that is from seasons later.
Oh, it's
Season
not from this
4.
season.
Yeah.
Ah, damn it!
Yeah, that's the.
I love that meme.
I won't give you too much context, but I'll tell you, it involves Atlantis.
It also
Okay, then.
involves Yugi and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay, makes
It's
sense.
a Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay,
Anywho, let's get
Do you
down
want
to
context
who's
now
gonna-
that you know
No,
it's
no,
not
guys,
in
this,
season?
guys, this has gone
no,
long
no.
enough. Can we get to it, please?
No.
We're gonna
Yeah.
go down to
Yeah,
the
let's
yays
go.
and nays. Who's gonna be moving forward and who's not? I'm leading us into plot. I'm gonna give my yay to Yu-Gi-Oh. I think that both of these shows have been, for these episodes, have gotten a little episodic in nature. But I think the key difference for me is that Yu-Gi-Oh still has stakes versus Cardfight Vanguard is kind of stayed about the same. That we're hanging out in a card shop versus we're on an island with no rules and now we have to gamble to survive. It's a little bit. Yu-Gi-Oh went a little Animal World here, and I'm down for that.
Yeah, I would say I'm gonna give the plot to Yu-Gi-Oh! Just because there are more stakes, more stuff happening. It's just more to my liking in terms of the character drives, and they're actually going places, and I didn't like how Cardfight Vanguard mainly just stayed encapsulated in the card shops, so Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, I'm also gonna give it to Yu-Gi-Oh! For those reasons as well.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'll give it to Cardfight Vanguard. I think I gave them a higher one for plot. Oh, I definitely did because Yu-Gi-Oh! Was mad that they made the Battle 2 episodes.
Okay, I was a meh for both, so I'm gonna flip a coin. If it's heads, it's Cardfight Vanguard. If it's tails, it's Yu-Gi-Oh!
It is Tails.
It is Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh takes that pretty easily. We move on. Yin, tell us about characters. Who's getting your yay?
In terms of the characters, I liked both for the most part. I think I might have given them both yays or light yays, some variation of yays. But I think overall, I'm gonna give characters to Yu-Gi-Oh! As well, because I just, I see more variation in terms of, like, we see villains, we see more antagonists, we see just, like, out there characters like Pegasus and Kaiba. I don't know, like, it's just more exciting to me, and the dynamics are more interesting, and there's more potential, so I'll just give it to Yu-Gi-Oh!
I will also give it to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I just feel like with those characters, like, while we don't have necessarily quite as many of them, I feel like, for me, they're a little bit more compelling, even though, like, we're not necessarily learning about all of their backstories all at once, so, yeah.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! For me, I liked maybe... Honestly, the only characters I really liked in 4 through 6 was Misaki, or for Cardfight was Misaki and the cat. So I liked the main quartet in Yu-Gi-Oh! And Weevil and May were the appropriate villains for the arcs. So yeah.
For Yu-Gi-Oh! I liked some of the characters. We weren't totally introduced to this time. We did know them before a little bit. Seeing more of them. There were some that I liked and some I didn't like. In Cardfight Vanguard, I mostly liked them. I think there was one or two I was neutral on. So, I'll give it to Vanguard.
I'll also give it to Vanguard. Like, they introduced more characters to us. Like, they had more uphill work to do with these 3 episodes. And while I might not like some of the characters, like, I feel like we have a pretty strong sense of, like, who they are.
I was very close with both of these. I think I gave them both light yays, and I think both of them do very well. And so I'm like really neck and neck with it. Weirdly enough, I think I might give the point to Vanguard here simply because there was a couple more times where just some of the characters, I guess, got a laugh out of me a little bit more, and it kind of helped them to be a little bit more memorable. Like I remember everyone from Yu-Gi-Oh! It's something else that I'm starting to get attached to, like some random dumbass in some other show now. So I'll give that to Vanguard. But yeah, so that ties, and so no one wins there. But we move on now. Chibi, take us into advertising. Who gets your yay?
For advertising, and I'm mostly going purely off of, like, what, like, my interest would be, and also personally just, like, I feel which ones not necessarily, like, with rules, but that are more, like, visually interesting to watch. I'm gonna give it to Yu-Gi-Oh! Even though it doesn't really, like, follow the rules. It's definitely, like, the one that's sort of like, hey, look at this! Whereas I feel like Cardfight Vanguard is sort of, like, showing us the Cardfight game and going really slowly into teaching us about how it's played. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I just feel like I would like the instructions and guidelines to be done with already, so.
I'm going to abstain for right now, but come back to me if I'm needed.
You will not be. I feel like we've covered this a lot of times. Anyone abstains, it becomes an odd number, and it cannot tie.
Yeah, but if a second person abstains.
That's true. That's true.
Another
That's
indecisive individual.
Because I know my answer, but I'm abstaining for a reason, so.
I mean, I think Chibi's usually the one who abstains, so.
Sometimes I do
am.
as well. I will admit to it.
If you know your answer, then just say it.
Well, no, because.
He wants to be the tiebreaker and
No,
have the tension.
just go on. I'll explain my reasoning if I need to.
Well, now I want you to explain your reasoning.
Guys, he doesn't want to say it right now. Let's just go.
Explain it afterwards.
I'm gonna give it to Vanguard because Yu-Gi-Oh's advertising is kind of a hot mess.
I'm also giving it to Vanguard. Again, I do like Yu-Gi-Oh! And I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And I would honestly be okay playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, but, like, this wouldn't tell me how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Where Cardfight Vanguard, I do want to try it to see if I really do understand. And I think actually showing potential players how to use the product and not giving them, like, a false sense of advertising is much better than just making things look cool. Card game go brrr. It's not valid advertisement.
Unless you're putting the cards in your bike wheel spokes. So they go brrr.
Is that what 5Ds is?
I have a pretty similar opinion as Kozi there. I think that even if Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a lot flashier, it is kind of false advertising a little bit when you learn that, wow, this is not even remotely how you play the game. And Cardfight Vanguard, even though I don't think it looks off the cuff as interesting as the crazy giant monster fights happening with the holograms, I think that might have been Yu-Gi-Oh's like number one advantage, was having like holograms in episode 1 as opposed to bringing them in episode 6 for Cardfight Vanguard. But I will still give it to Vanguard because I think I can actually make sense of this game.
Okay, so how are we defining advertising?
You can do it whatever way you want.
Part of it is subjective, but the way that I've been going with it in a lot of ways is at least for the stuff that I understand and know and can kind of like, for the games and that, does this make me want to play it? And then if I play it, am I going to feel like I was lied to? Or is it true?
Okay, so we are encompassing accuracy to the actual game.
I am. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Okay.
But that's how I looked at it.
Mine was more, am I just here for the product? And do I actually care about the game?
Okay.
My opinion on that is kind of like, if you can get my initial interest in the product, great, I will buy something. But then sometimes as soon as I realize it's not what you were trying to sell me, I won't continue to buy.
All right. I see what you mean. So I kind of agree with Chibi that I just think Yu-Gi-Oh! Does a better job at making me interested in playing this. As somebody who is unbiased in I have never played either of these games. So I'm just going in fresh, and I just find Yu-Gi-Oh! Does, I don't know, this sort of a better job to me of just, like, being interesting. I don't know. I feel like the other one kind of teaches me too much to the point where it's like, you're almost like an instruction manual, you know? And it's like, I'd rather learn the game when I'm learning the game than learn the game while I'm watching the thing that's advertising the game. It's almost like if I watch a commercial and it just like tells me everything about the video game, for instance, like how to jump and how to run and stuff without showing me why the game is cool and interesting. You know, I'd rather hear about the plot and the graphics and like how it looks and how the characters are, you know. I'd rather be interested in that in terms of being advertised to than I would in here's how to play the game, you know. That's my personal opinion. But if we're going to include the accuracy of the game, yeah, it's possible that Cardfight Vanguard is more accurate to the game than Yu-Gi-Oh! However, do any of us even know how to play Cardfight Vanguard? What if somebody who actually plays it would come around and say, this isn't how you play Cardfight Vanguard?
I feel like I know how to play Cardfight Vanguard.
Have you played
I think me
No,
and
but I
Elle
actually
have
watched
both-
the tutorial, and it's exactly what the show showed us.
Alright, then it's more accurate to how to play it. So that's fair. However, I don't think it advertises that as well because I think it kind of does a boring job of advertising. So I'm going to give it to Yu-Gi-Oh!
Envy, any thoughts that you want to add? Because we're not tied. Unless you want to tie it up, I don't know.
No, I'm still gonna abstain because even though I gave the individual categories of meh and yay respectively, I can kind of see both sides of the issue. Because on the one hand, I did think that Yu-Gi-Oh! Was more entertaining and more presenting, but more flashy and more presenting. But then I also have to agree that if the way they're playing the game is wrong, even if the anime did come first, then yeah, obviously Cardfight Vanguard would be better in a sense of actually teaching you how to play the game. Because we did judge a lot of the past anime in the first round on how well it introduces the concepts of, you know, the shows. So that's why I abstained.
Okay. Well, Cardfight Vanguard takes advertising, and we move now into production. Chibi, are you... No, Envy, you're starting us off on this one.
I feel like this is going to be coin flips all around.
Oh god, do we have two abstains in a
I
row?
feel like they're both
No. I'm trying to
There.
think. I'm trying to think. Because I would say which one has better animation. And yeah, I guess Vanguard technically, but as I mentioned in my previous thing, I don't think it looks that amazing either. I'm going to give the slight edge to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because while I thought the duels in 4 through 6 for Vanguard were better, I still thought the actual duels and fights in Yu-Gi-Oh! Were better. So I'll give the slight edge to Yu-Gi-Oh! And I also think the dub, even if it is cheesier, I was more entertained by the dub voices for Yu-Gi-Oh! Than I was for Vanguard.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat for the most part. Yu-Gi-Oh! is more visually interesting, maybe to the point of being overwhelming at times, but certainly more interesting to look at.
Okay, if Envy's going to give his off of dub, I'm going to have to give it to Vanguard because the Vanguard dub made me laugh more. Like, obviously Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not meant to be silly little hee-hee ha-ha, but, like, they're so similar. It's kind of hard to, like, actually pick one over the other, because they're very comparable to each other.
Yeah, I agree there's a large degree of comparability between these two. So to some degree, it kind of comes a little bit down to preference. I think for this week that the dub on Cardfight Vanguard was a little bit funnier. I mentioned that before. But that being said, I think that character design, the creature designs, some of the stuff like that, and, also we're kind of getting like some more, even like background type stuff. We're going to a lot more locations, or like kind of seeing a few more things. I think that I'm going to give it to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because, I don't know, on a visual level, I think it was a little more interesting to look at. I think the dual monsters are more interesting to look at than the Cardfight Vanguard creature things. So, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I would say the actual animation is fairly on par, especially considered that Yu-Gi-Oh! Was made several years before.
Oh, over a decade.
Like over a decade. So the fact that they're kind of on par kind of makes me lean towards Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it was a lot earlier. So I think Cardfight Vanguard was maybe not as great animation for its time. And I just think the Yu-Gi-Oh! Character designs and monster designs are a lot better and a lot more memorable. So definitely going to give it to Yu-Gi-Oh!
I will abstain.
Okay, well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Takes production. And Cece, why don't you take us into final thoughts?
I think I'm more interested in seeing where Cardfight Vanguard goes. That's not much over the other one, but yeah, I'll give it to Vanguard.
Okay, well, I gave Vanguard a light yay and Yu-Gi-Oh! A mess, so I feel like I need to go with Vanguard. I guess for me, it all kind of boils down to I've never seen Vanguard before. So, it's all new to me, so it's more exciting for me personally. And I do have, a vague idea of what's going to happen. And I feel like they introduced a very interesting concept with that last episode that I would like to see followed through on.
I think you're right, but like I mentioned in plot, I think to a large degree, I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a lot more stakes at this moment than Cardfight Vanguard does, and that makes me interested in seeing what they're going to do next a little bit more than we're mostly hanging out at Card Shop playing some, frankly, unconsequential matches against each other. Versus, we're in a tournament, we're in, a lose and you lose everything kind of scenario almost in every single episode. And that's a little bit more engaging to me. So I'm going to go with Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. I just prefer the characters, I prefer the monster designs, and I just think that the plot has more stakes and more stuff is happening.
Final thoughts go to Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Takes final thoughts along with production plot, and they take the day. Any other thoughts on Cardfight Vanguard before it's eliminated?
Card game go.
Card game go. I thought that was Yu-Gi-Oh!
That could be any card game, really.
That's fair.
It is almost midnight. No thoughts. Head empty.
I hear you. So, Yu-Gi-Oh! Moves on. They will go on to fight Blackrock Shooter when we get around to this side of the bracket again. Why don't we talk about next week, though? Because next week, we're heading over to... Yeah. We're heading back over to the Monster Friends category, where we're gonna decide who's got the best Monster Friends. I have a favorite going into this. I don't know if you guys will...
It's a Yokai Watch sweep. We all know it.
Well, we'll have to see.
What was that
Yokai Watch will face off against Digimon next week, and we'll see who comes out on It's anyone's game at this point, people. It's anyone's game. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!